And Anu Chabda here. Today we'll be learning a very new, you cannot say it's a very effective fertilizer which our plants really need to have it. It's a multivitamin for our plants. It's making of this fertilizer is very easy. How to store it, how to use it, how frequently it should be used, everything we'll be discussing step by step. Basically, this fertilizer what today we are going to learn, it is a high source of nitrogen. Apart from that, it contains your phosphorus, potash, many micronutrients plus amino acids. So that's what your plant needs, everything, and it's a package for everything. But it's very difficult for us to source each and every nutrient separately and give it to our plants. So if we make this at a regular intervals, we can give it to our plants. They'll be happy, and seeing them, we'll also be happy. So let's start how to make it. So as I told you, this is the cakes. So where do these cakes come from? So you can see different colors are there in these cakes. So these are basically the seed cakes. When we obtain oil from any of the seeds, the residue of that, you can say after extracting the oil, whatever the residue is there, that residue has been compressed and dried, and these are sold in the form of cakes. Now suppose we take an example of mustard. It is also available either in this color or yellow sarson also we say, or your groundnut, or neem. Okay, neem also it bears seeds. So after extracting oils, these contain too much of oil in them. So we cannot just make sure that we just grind it and dilute it and give it to our plants. No, that way it's not going to work, because they might affect, the oil content will affect the growth of our plant. So what do we have to do? So this is just to show you what are these things made out of it. So we are not going to use them. So keep them aside. Now here I have different kinds of cakes. So if possible for you to arrange all, you can do that. Else what all are there, first I'll tell you. This is, in this we have neem cake, your mustard cakes, your groundnut cakes, and this is a mixture of all. So it is available either in this form, the cakes form, or the pellets form, or in the powder form. So whichever form it is available or accessible to you, you can source that. Now suppose you don't get everything, no problem. If mustard cake, your neem cake is must. So with that, if possible, use mustard cake, or groundnut cake also if available, that is also fine. Otherwise, these kind of pellets are available, which is a mix of everything. Generally, these cakes are used for animal fodders. So if you cannot source it anywhere near to your place in any gardening shop, so might be any place where you get food for the animals, especially for cows and buffaloes, there you might get these things. Okay. So now how to make it? So these were the cakes, and a little jaggery also we need, just because we want it to ferment. Now how to make it? This is the very easy process. Either you take the cakes, dissolve it in water to make a paste kind of a thing, or to make it more easier, you grind it in a powdered form. Now once we have taken this in a powdered form, so we'll add little water to make it in a paste form. Okay, just take sufficient water. Now in this approximately 100 grams of powder I have taken. So just take a sufficient amount of water to make it a semi-liquid kind of a thing. Okay. Now this jaggery is also required, so that also we can, either you can powder it, or you can crush it, or you can add it to the same mix. Okay. Now once you have added jaggery, just half a teaspoon or maximum 1 teaspoon is more than fine. Now mix it well. You can add little more water because it absorbs too much of water. Once you see that everything is being dissolved properly, now this is the basic structure of this oil cake. Now this is not the way we can use it to our plants. Now once you have made it, you have to keep it, take a little bigger container, keep it in a little bigger container for at least 4 to 5 days, cover it and keep it aside for 4 to 5 days. After that, you can do one more thing. If you have some earthen pot or any plastic container, in that also you can keep. Avoid keeping it in any metal container. Okay. If once after 3 to 4 days you see the little fermentation process has taken place, you take a bucket in which 20 liters of water approximately you have to take, and then you dissolve whatever you have fermented. In this, two processes can be done. Either you ferment it and then you add it in water, dilute it in water, or from the very beginning itself you can make it in diluted 20 liters of bucket with water. Okay. Now once this will take approximately, you can say 4 to 5 days, as I told you, the fermentation process. So once after 4 to 5 days this is ready to be used. Now you just check, it will be a very diluted form. Just, you can say it's just a watery. Okay, so it's almost, you can say it's a solution of 0.5%. You can say the concentration is just 0.5%. So that much is only required. Too much strong we cannot give, because mustard and neem cakes are really strong, so they might burn the leaves and the roots. So make sure you can further dilute it, but don't use concentrated form. Okay, now how to use it? Now when this solution is ready, you take any plant except your cactus, your succulents and your indoor plants. This solution you are not going to use on these three things: your succulents, your cactuses and your indoor plants, because this fertilizer is required only to the plants which are kept in sunlight and for their nice foliage and flower and fruiting purpose. So those three, they does not require all such things. Okay. Now one very important aspect you have to understand, that how to give it to your plants. Now once the solution is ready, the fertilizer is ready, suppose you have to give it to your plants, make sure a day or 2 days before you will stop watering your plants. Your soil should be completely dry. Okay. Suppose today is Monday and you have to give your solution to your solution is ready and you have to give it to your plants. So give it either on Tuesday or Wednesday if you have already watered your plants on Monday. Make sure at least 1 or 2 days the watering is not given to your plants, because once you give this solution to your plant and the plant is a little deprived of water, so all the nutrition whatever we are giving, it will be easily and very fast they'll absorb the roots. Okay, so the roots, they'll absorb the nutrition very fast, so the effect will be seen very you can see within a day only you can see the difference in your plant. Now how to give it? Now approximately this much size bowl you take, and for this much size of pot, this much quantity is more than enough. So make sure whenever you give this, you have to give it for the soil application only. You don't have to spray it to your plants. But sometimes some people, they use it for the foliage spray also, to control your pest attack and the nice lush growth of the leaves also. So in that case you have to further dilute it by, you can say, double the amount. After taking this much quantity of the solution, this much water you have to take. So 1:1 ratio of this you have to make. Then you can use it to your plants. Now once you have given it to your plants, you will see a tremendous growth in your plant. all your leaves, your pest attack, your overall growth of the plant, your flowering, your fruiting, everything will be taken care by 80 to 90% by this solution only. So how frequently should we give this once we have made it? So as I told you, it is not a light fertilizer. It is, though we have made it quite diluted form, still it has too much of properties and it is quite strong. So it should not be given more than once in a month. More of this if you give, might be your roots will burn. So make sure minimum gap should be 25 days, maximum it can be a month. Do not give frequent as and when you feel some problem is there in the plant, so you make this and give it to your plants. Don't do that, okay? And one main thing what people notice is when you give this, because of the fermentation process, suppose today you have given, after a day or two you see a just very light white color, some fungal growth on the surface of the plant. So that is very natural because it's a fermentation process. So fungus development is quite common. So you don't have to get scared of it. People immediately after seeing the fungal little layer on the soil, they get so scared that they start using fungicides or something. So don't do any such thing. It's a natural process and it's a very good fungus for the soil. Gradually that fungus will also turn into compost and your soil will become more rich and your plant will become more healthy. So after a day or two, when you see that little fungal growth has come on the surface of the soil, just take any of your tool and just rake the soil. After raking the soil, again after 2 to 3 days, you can see a light fungal growth is still there. Again rake the soil. So just control on little watering once you give this. Too much of rain if it is there, try avoiding this. Because of this again fungal attack will be more, and mostly that's what I was telling you, do not give it on the leaves, because in the rainy season if this is there on your leaves and over that too much water also falls on it, so fungal attack will be there on the leaves and the quality of the leaves and the other problems will start happening. So make sure you give it in the soil, and after giving this, keep the soil little on a drier side. Whenever you feel the weather forecast and all, the too much rain we are expecting, so make sure during that time you don't make this fertilizer. It's a very good source of all the nutrients, as I told you, your nitrogen, phosphorus, maximum nitrogen, then phosphorus, potash, your micronutrients, your amino acids like seaweed and all that, what different fertilizers we keep searching. This if you give monthly once, so I think no other fertilizers are required. Apart from that, we are making bioenzymes, we are making soap nut solution for spraying and all, banana peel fertilizers, that all is good. This is for the overall growth of the plant. So this you can give it to all your plants, your you can say ornamental plants, your floral, vegetable, fruits, everything if you give. So I don't think any problems you have to face to your for your plants. So it's a very good, easily accessible, easy to make. And when we talk about the storage, yes, that is a little difficult in this. So make the quantity how much ever you can use it. It cannot be stored for a long, because once you ferment it, the smell what it comes out from it, it's really strong, and many people they don't like also that smell. And more you store this, more fungal growth will be there, so it will be really difficult to handle. And the properties of this fertilizer, it's best when it is used when it is made. So 4 to 5 days, as I told you, it is taking that process and fermenting 4 to 5 days. After that, maximum a day or two. So within a week, suppose you have started the process on Monday, so by before next Monday, it should be used to all your plants. So you cannot store this, it does not have a shelf life. So try making in limited quantities, how much ever, you just count your number of plants, how much, you know how much quantity you need depending on this. So measure and then make it little bit extra, it's okay, but try not making more, as it will be a waste. and it's a very good fertilizer. I suggest and request you all to make it, and once you start using it, you will come to know how well your plants are doing. So thank you very much for joining me. Keep watching, something new, something interesting, we'll get it for you. Thank you. Bye bye.